Perverted and Criminal Satanism of Liber 333 by Tempel of Blood. Book 3, Tales of the Blood Pool. The last quarter of nighttime is a special one. Sometimes those who ritually abuse themselves disassociate with what they are doing and can come to realizing it was others they harmed too. Is that what you want for beings to come? A beautiful young woman can bring us towards our inner high priestess. She appreciated the hermit's presence of more than Sauroktonos, and she was seen as a manifestation of Maktaron. He was not innocent, and trauma had been the price he had to pay for his experience. She returned to her parents unharmed, though. A prisoner does not have to give up their soul service. The spiritual actions can affect far more than those who can still witness you. People acquire their kingdom from the sun to Saturn. Any sort of life will be for some sort of prince. Disassociated are aware. We will not always be trapped. And there is the result of the tower and demons besides Abatu. No longer Mercury to Saturn, but the sun to Saturn. Vindex as a beast that leads a shepherd is seen. Innocence lost results in facing the lightning. A criminal's consciousness turns him to the hanged man. Turns him into the hanged man. When we reach pages 112 to 122, we see the type of art that could get you suspended from your social media account if you posted it. Interrogation training is like unto the stereotypical disorientation and stress situations the war of terrorism is known for, but I don't recognize the patch on the arm of the mask-wearing soldier and the woman and the woman that has the bag over her head under a Tempel of Blood flag, which is red on black. Isn't virtually every war really about primal emotions and conquering instead of out of moral supremacy? Willow Tree could have been recropped to have the drawing of a scrawny alien merge with a thin man who's going to give the spankings to the slave woman. With the woman or child present, time is running out for those who take a chemical as their god, and spiritual death is coming under Nithra with a sense of lineage. For the Ember Tree Master, see the alien on the hill, locked and loaded and ready to kill, is as a blood-soaked account of the Temple of Blood alien, ready to make a ritual out of spanking. Signs of Azanagin and the Temple of Blood sigil are obscured, but the passion of rites can have results that blur the cause and empower the four-sided crystal of your being nonetheless. Recruitment has an alien dressed like a park ranger, are one of the brown shirts with blood running from its fangs, calling for terror. Isn't the time coming for a multi-nation destabilization and rising together of some new left and new right instead of the single nation and divided red and brown, Rotter, Framkampfverbund, alliance of Red Front fighters, and Sturmabteilung, storm detachment. Threat is of a woman with the sigil of Noctulius above her navel, in a position like unto Osiris, but standing with a secured dagger in the left and hold paddle in her right. Do we need to see the face of what sets us aright or destroys us? Self-correction is of a paper with the phrase 29 times before a crystal tetrahedron. I don't think it says, I will become a greyhound. I do, however, realize that we are or should be becoming and be ready for every act and night of power. Zanagan, A Tale of the Blood, is 3 parts with 7 questions. Cesar Azag Kala of Temple of Blood, of TOB, CB, ONA, and SIR, wrote it to intentionally bring those in spiritual darkness more fully into that, and the spiritual death mentioned in John 6:63 through 66, and Romans 8:13 through 14. Insanity, oh, so they call it, often comes when the allegedly correct system breaks you and their healing does not work. Then strange rituals are witnessed that cause a change that others can't explain. But you are sufficient witness. Those with criminal actions are a product of what they witnessed, and their intentions may go beyond those the order will accept. Surrounded by the symbols of what is worshipped, torment becomes she that is exposed to connect to a torrent about to flow out near Saturn, and he who afflicts her in the name of the demon of the wheel of fortune, Azanagan, the sacred sites of religion of the ancestors, can become the grounds for the Satanism of the new generations. Across most of the world, the churches are failing to be replaced by those with no reverence for that history. The knees to the left shoulder formed a connection that was interpreted as being from others entirely. The knees to the right hand was the place of death, and the familiar named Nithra, the weak in faith, reacted to defend their faith upon issues of blood and soil. Ledagon is obscured between the left hand and the right elbow, but strength is ready. Throughout the so-called Bible Belt, Satanism is strong, and there have been spots dedicated towards that current with rituals and actions that others may justify upon nationalism or racist appearances, shown the way by the mere dispersing symbol of Budsturga, the flowing blue light demon, the star demon Nemaku. We realize there are people at all levels of society that operate this charade. A breakdown of society is coming, and it will please Ashtaroth, Ashtarut, or Alastros, as this queen of hell is otherwise known, to manifest her legions throughout it. We need to learn Satanism is beyond the title. The importance of a victorious one that became a hanged man is to purely lead his side as their vindicts in a way to fully motivate them. In the meantime, we do not have to be present, play a role for what we lack the physical presence for. We may decide to maintain a physical sign of our spiritual commitment that has been proved. Extremism can be understood without being apart. Spiritual presences can linger if we let them. Three-quarters into the night, he is left all alone. The feminine Lucifer is called between the knees to the left hand. Lilith is known through sound, light without light. He meets the devil, misanthropic and anti-cosmic. He becomes the noctulian goat of the Yazidi, clay merged with the fire beings in a particularly dark moment. We can dissolve our personality in a temple disguised as our living room. In 1440, the best time of blood sacrifices is 4 days in August. Fiction hides religion, and I think of the place of the blue jinn or its race near Veiled Pass, Colorado, which I encountered in a year I've called Nuit. I showed where that was on my Jafarian Trail playlist. With the stirring of the earth by rain, and the stirring of the infernal by forbidden rituals to undo the effects of the whitewashers of spirituality, the opposite sex can bring a sense of dread, but the star and the rest are breaking the gates within the universe that becomes the gate. The depths of so dark a path can become a spontaneous sacrifice in an accident, which those called dark gods waited for. The survivors use the occasion to honor their fallen as it connects to hopes, states away for a vindex for a future age. A Satanist needs a sexual partner, but it does not have to be in heterosexual ways approved of by some authority. There is a price to pay to join such orders, but the worldly price is not always wealth. All their energies may have to go into the work at hand, and Temple of Blood wants potential proved. Alas, my own Princess of Cups did not prove her potential, but maybe she needs to break down more in a sort of black alchemy to become a mistress of earth in her own right. Discipline is getting past the tests of life and should be coupled with a sense of love or devotion to a cause. Temple of Blood has its own secrets and encourages a sense of being a predator, but one who is learned in their craft instead of just some random criminal. Their vows connect them to what is astral and without cause in the ordinary sense. It is those other worlds that we do not have to prepare to lose, but gain. Through the trauma of loss, some become worthy of more than the drama of ritual orders. When betrayed, the orders may have their members deal with such problems before being fully accepted into the nightmare of their inner orders. What good are genitals and other sensual organs if we are to be part of other orders that degenerates their urges and even deny they exist? Now, they have shown that they can go beyond the Apollonian towards indulging in the Dionysian. Perhaps they have become the 22 to be sacrificed every 17. There is more to do for those who have become living demons. Whether our lives or those of others, we choose to connect to the energy of. There are ideas, times. There are ideal times to be born and ideal times to die. Christianity sees itself at the forefront of exposing evil according to Ephesians 5:11 and 1 Timothy 5:22. But are they really the best to do the enlightening of the world to evil and lead them towards the righteousness that Acts 26:18 mentions? Is information from torture victims reliable? For me, the 3-3-3 ritual consists of being in the dark for 3 minutes, for the 3 minutes that it takes to get a third of one's night vision. The additional 30 minutes to gain the second third, and the additional 3 hours needed to have my full night vision, with or without reflective devices to imagine with, or feel the impacts with. What is sanctified and consecrated in one place may also affect a cost in the outer adept of another location who bore the metal and symbol he thought would protect him from their vampirism, but his life was snuffed out. As was about to be that of the naive and innocent little girl about to be consumed by a predator disguised as a Jew. But is really of the synagogue of Satan mentioned in Revelations 2:9 and 3:9. A larger and larger percentage of my countrymen know what it's like to be taken away. Luxury is used to breed ignorance of the truth of this night upon day. The poor are not without blame in their own ways. Strange and strict people dwell in certain hills, but what are their true wills? True discipline calls us to rise with the dawn. Some don't know what changes in others were left in others by the rituals they take on. Sinister symbols may be shared, or it can be a secret behind shared smiles. Changes in society is certainly not the progression of miles. A lack of repression, it seems, only multiplied insanity. Drugs increase and hold up an outer facade of vitality. Would-be vampires wanted to have an impact like that of (1560 to 1614's Bathory Airs Sebet. Misanthropy. Misanthropy breeds a desire that can't be released just yet. A four-sided quartz and psychological vampirism is how it really started to set. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the parent stone's owner cuts himself with what remains and connects to his followers, an evil without a need for a Sabbath. By death, the emperor and the hierophant, he did psychically haunt. Some are atheistically satanic, without any daunt. Within a dark color, from the moon to Venus, the staunchness and solemnness of Gaubni. Gaubni? I think it's Gaubni. Galby, maybe, is made known, but to her it won't be flaunted. Early on, some know they will have to become too damned to be compliant. Some do not need the paint of any cult to have great spiritual effects. Some abandon sinister spirituality, but thrive on causing estrangement. Some never change except titles to remain someone with little said about them in terms of complaint. A true dark master can taint the youth without earning a worldly plaint. Mistress of Earth, Devchina, connects to ancient physical and psychological tunnels. Revelations 6, 1 through 8, can divide more than Thanatos, the pale, into four as the 16 replacements in white, red, black, pale. White, red, black, and pale of Pegasus. What does the heavenly wickedness, hardship, and apostasy mean? Between the left elbow and right elbow are the 19th path of Lear, and what appears as a common woman. Demons will lead even the lowest of humans along there, and the other 20 pathways to the other dark passageways that are removed from the sphere of earth, giving up on salvation. The infernal Baphomet is worshipped by those who accept themselves as being of the new Aeon, death, the star, the tower, and the emperor with their Gaubni, Budsturga, Sapinur, and Athushir will not be the only lesser-known ones to come upon the Noctulians in the last quarter of the night, on the borders of their fortifications, as the worldly beasts accept their sacrifices. A social creature, the prideless is identified, detached from expression, attracts the curiosity of children. They may change by intention soon enough. What pleases is known in green these days. The youth of conservative Christians may be led to raise the black flag, but there are things that must be done outside of even the most liberal of places under the white flag. The power of words and ritual brings success in various ways. Ascendancy is for more than some order. It is the four-sided place of the internal play of spirits that would disturb. The present age was only hinted at in the Third Reich, but its mother and reformists live on with secret hope. There are enemies among other faiths that will take things too far. The divine light's role was represented sexually with witnesses in South Carolina as Fortune. The mother gave birth at this time to her, the hanged man, in her supreme moment, and the International Society of Krishna Consciousness sees its influence live on through certain satanic movements. Some will find God to be greater than. Many will form a chapter of an organization based on what is, instead of media reports. Join a path that does not give respect to mere ancestry. joined the opposition to the real anti-Semitic nationalists. 22 known that their purpose is to uphold and restore principles and traditions. It was their blood and soil enemies that were the ones who started their bombing campaign of terrorism. That December 2008, are you prepared to respond? How will you respond? People assumed many a terrorist to be Muslim without knowing what makes a person Muslim or what the private life is of fringe groups. They join the tower to the emperor in their unholiness. A perpetrator, survivor, leads that current of 0, 11, and 16 with blood on his symbol of Abatu, Kuthuna, or something else. Praise is made into the moan of disaster and evil. Yahweh? And even a hardened soldier may need to retreat from their spouse for a while. One who turns from God, Yah, will not have the support of increasing existence, Yahweh. In their secret kidnappings of their enemies, Aryan is a nobility that transcends race and can be joined. The same secret sign is on the walls of a room where a pentagram is drawn. A reverend is brought into the room, and his Christian upbringing leads him to immediately fear when he sees the first pentagram chest tattoo of the surviving terrorist. The reverend's captors were Noctulians who murdered him as they chanted to the archdemons of the moon and the emperor by pathways 1, 3, 16, and the secret 0. They had formed a Nexion source of nightmares, and the surviving terrorist was a full member as he furthered his long, hard road to hell. But where is he now? Past those dark woods. Now, book 4 is called Sundry Scriptures, and my interpretation and all that is to follow. And then I'll share the epilogue, and I'll go over the new cover, which, see, we're all part of a group. So when I talk about a tribe, it's not hate speech. When I talk about doing what's best for the land, well, isn't that your own opinion of what's best for the land? That's not hate speech. When I mention colors, the importance of red, the importance of green, the importance of white, the importance of black, I am absolutely not talking about something other. I'm talking about color symbolism here. I'm trying to make my what I'm doing here, evocative. Now, what are you going to do? What are you going to choose? If you don't understand, ask. But your experience and your understanding of the Temple of Blood text and other such text may go into areas that mine does not.